The Lord is putting a lot of burdens that is impregnable into men in this time. Alright? And until we posture ourselves for a delivering process, alright, there's every possibility that the burden dies on our inside. Alright, see, in this time and in this season, there is a lot of burden in our hearts, and we will ensure that we give birth to this impregnable position that we are. Alright, we are so much pregnant. A woman is not always comfortable until she has given birth. As soon as Zion travails, she brought forth a child. Alright, a woman comes to the place of rest, to the place of seeming comfortability until the time that she gives birth, until the time that she delivers of her baby. Alright, for the journey of 9 months or thereabout, all things being equal, it's always one level of depravity, one level of discomfort. Alright, when a pregnant woman sleeps, it's not the way that a normal person sleeps. You can sleep anyhow, alright, as a normal human being. But somebody who is pregnant, there's always a discomfort. There are some sleeping postures that the person can't take again. Alright? Because it's gonna be a disturbance to the possibilities locked up on our inside. Alright? So for a period of some few months until the time of giving birth, there's always a discomfort. Alright, that's because there's something on the inside that is glorious, that's about to be brought forth into the landscape. Alright? And until that thing is delivered, that discomfort ensued, continually ensued. Alright? So I'm saying to us in a nutshell that the Lord is putting a lot of burdens that is impregnable into men in this time. Alright? And until we posture ourselves for a delivering process, alright, there's every possibility that the burden dies on our inside. Are you following? Because it is not all the time that you give birth that you get pregnant, that you also give birth. Alright, there's something they call stillbirth. It means that you can be pregnant and the baby will still die inside of you. Alright? That's the position of many Christians. The Lord gives them burden, but the burden dies. Why? Because we don't take the position of exploring the possibilities of God that is locked up on our inside. Alright? But we must always come to a point that we ensure that the impregnable position must come to a place of delivery. It's very important. Alright? So that's why the Lord is bringing to us a lot of burdens in this time, and we must ensure that these burdens find a lasting expression to the degree that these burdens can be bettered forth. These burdens can find expression in the landscape. This burden can be materialized. Alright? This burden can become a particle that can be touched, that can be palpable and touchable. Do you understand it? So the burden will not just be at the matter level. It will not just be at the energy level. We must ensure that we birth it forth to the degree that men can latch upon it, that men can touch it. Alright, because that's the most important thing. Do you understand it? You see, the joy of people is not just that you get pregnant. The joy is that you give birth. Is that true? That is good. Your belly can protrude. Your belly can bulge. But people are not really interested in that. It's good, alright? But they want to see the day that you will give birth to that thing that is on your inside. And it will be a taboo that you are pregnant and you don't give birth. Are you following? So we are not, listen, we are no, as much as your process is good, thank God for your process. We are happy that you are going through process. But we don't just want to see processes, we also want to see the aftermath effect. We want to see the result. So a result must be bettered out of our lives. Alright? It's in fact one of the ways that we know that you are truly going through a process is that we see results. Is that true? Yes. So when you are going through some couple of dealings, some couple of realities in God, it is expedient that we come to a posture of delivery, a posture of giving birth, because as much as we are happy with your impregnable position, we also want to see results over your life. Very important. All right? Very important. All right, so this result is not for self gratification. No, sir. It's so that the kingdom can experience a shift, that men will gaze at you and they will see that the kingdom is getting towards reality in time and even in eternal realms. Alright? Do you understand it? Alright, so you can be effective in eternity and also in time. Alright? Your relevance is tied to those realms. Alright, I hope you are aware that this side is also a side of eternity. Time is a side of eternity. You are not here? You don't understand what I'm saying? In the beginning, God created the heaven and what? And the earth. God created eternity and time. Alright, so time proceeded out of eternity. Do you understand it? So when in time, as we are in time, time is also a side of eternity. Alright, so God expects that you are relevant both in eternity and where? And in time. And you learn from immortality. That's the progression. Alright? You are not following me? Alright. So you're learning. The learning system now is within God. You are learning within God. Alright? So that you can have effect in eternity and in time. Hope you are aware that eternity is not enough to capture God. Alright? No, you can't box God in eternity. No, sir. Eternity has a beginning, but no end. But God does not have a beginning, no end. Are you following? You are not here. You are not here. Yes, sir. Okay. Because we don't understand the difference between eternity and God. Alright? Eternity has what? A beginning and no end. But God does not have a beginning nor end. Alright? So God created eternity. In the beginning, God created the heaven. Heaven is what? Eternity. And if God created it, that means it has a beginning. But Him does not have a beginning. That's why He dwells in a light unapproachable. God is immortal in nature. It was from thence that eternity and time came into being. Alright, so it is expedient that a man reigns in eternity and you also reign in time. Alright, so when God was giving Adam the dominion mandate, what God said is that God said, let us make man in our own image, right? After our own likeness. Right? So that man will have dominion over the fowls of the earth, over eternity. Alright? That's pointing you to heaven. It's pointing you to constellation. Alright? Over the fowls of the air, the fishes of the sea. Alright? So he's telling you about the three-dimensional realm that man must rule over. Alright? Alright. The way you are looking at me is as though your glucose level is low. Hallelujah. Your receptacle is the thing is just bouncing back. Hallelujah. Or are you following me? Yes. What I'm saying in essence is that a man must reign well in eternity and in time. That's the agenda of God. Alright? Are you following me? Yes. That's why even in the new world to come, we are still going to see the new heaven and the new earth. They will collapse. Alright? And the intention of God originally for the superimposition of the heaven over the earth will now come to bear. Alright? At such day, you will not see any difference between heaven and earth because they would have collapsed. Alright? I see a new heaven and a new earth. At that day, if you pick your leg like this from heaven, you will find yourself on earth. And if you pick yourself from earth, your leg from earth, you will find yourself where? In heaven. Why? Because that realm has now collapsed into one. So that was why God could enter into Eden. Because heaven and earth at that point in time were in perpetual and linear continuum. Do you understand it? There's no separation between heaven and earth. Alright? So we are supposed to learn the cultures of heaven and replicate it and reflect it in time. Alright, that's the original intention of God. But the fall mesmerized some of those things and sabotaged the reality of God. But a day is coming again that we are going to come back into that reality. And it has begun. Alright, so that it will be done in earth as it is in heaven. That's the original intent of God. That the reality that is going on in heavenly landscape will be factored here.
Holy fire, born upon my altar, from